had sort of a false start there, as I had a visitor I received really, really quickly. Someone collecting, like, information on the home, of course, so. Welcome back to Bloodborne. We are nearing the end of our stream series. This may, in fact, it probably will be, the last major Bloodborne stream we do for some time anyway. Again, I may come back after the fact to clean up, like, the last fixed challenge dungeons, but, as you know, Bloodborne has been something of a mixed bag for me, like a beautiful world with a lot of genuinely fun encounters and weapons and things like that, but it's also, and I cannot apologize for this enough, been the cause of some very, very palpable frustration for me in the late game, in the DLC and all that. So, to make sure we had enough blood vials and quicksilver bullets to take on our final little handful of bosses, I decided, off-camera, to do, not exactly grinding, but to explore some of the randomized chalice dungeons, like I did a few, randomized, Hintertomb and Themeru Depth 2 chalices right here, and there was nothing really to see that we haven't already. I fought a lot of pigs. There were a lot of pigs they used for bosses in, like, the 3 or 4 I did, and I decided to buy a few more levels in addition to all the supplies, and as it happens, there's one thing about the game I totally forgot that might have made our time a little bit easier. And that has to do with health, and specifically health recovery items in this game.
Gammon awaits.
I'm going to pick up probably a couple more levels in Vitality and tell you exactly what I mean. So you can see we've got a much bigger health bar up at the top. We've gained probably between 200 and 300 HP since we last spoke with each other. And this is actually really going to affect our survivability in the long run, because you see, in this game, I think, like, unlike Dark Souls 1 and 2, where the strength of your Estus flask, like how many times you'd reinforced it and so on, affected how potent the healing effect was. So you heal, like, say, a set amount with a basic Estus, and a set amount with Estus plus 1 and plus 2 and all that. The value of health healed by each blood vial actually scales with your vitality. As you get more health, you recover more health with your blood vials, as like just a, not by percentage, by like sheer amount. Every blood vial, I think, heals you for just under half of your max health, so the more health we have, the more health we can get back, the better value we get on our blood vials, making this just a little bit more survivable. Now, one thing I am gonna do, though, before we carry on, because we've just got, remember, a series of final bosses left, and by God, I am taking down Lawrence, too, today. I want to go through one of these randomized dungeons with you. We'll remove our chalice. And which one should we use? Obviously the Eyes challenge, or chalice, is one we're not gonna get around to for a while. Guess we could go for like a Themeru 3, maybe? Might as well. And the Fetid Offering will make certain enemies a bit stronger, I believe. Should we do that? Probably not, given how difficult the regular Themerian labyrinths can be. But we might not even have to go through the whole thing, I just wanted to show it off to you. And, oh, I was able to farm echoes pretty effectively by, equipping all 3 of the moon runes we've acquired up to this point, making us, or giving us a pretty significant boost to the blood echoes we earn from each enemy. Now, lower Themeru like this ought to do pretty well, I'd imagine. And as you see, just like normal, we get standard dungeon, but one here that's actually been pre-made. Or, sorry, randomly generated, I should say. It's not pre-made. Hey, Hannah, how's it going? So glad to hear from you. It says, hello, is that a hat or a mushroom or tree growth? Well, due to this game's significant, like, Lovecraftian influences, we were able to complete a minor quest line for an NPC who desired to become as one of the old ones, these great eldritch beings. And we got a special, like, optional rune, basically something you can equip to modify your stats, that transforms us into this bizarre, shambling, kind of otherworldly hybrid. As it is right now, it doesn't do much but increase the likelihood that I'll discover items on enemies' corpses, but it's also required to wield a weapon we get for defeating a very, very difficult optional boss, which is our ultimate goal today. Oh, look at that stutter, jeez. It's probably not helping me that I forgot to repair my Blades of Mercy. And we're in a depth 3 dungeon. That's not gonna be a good look. We're definitely stocking up on blood vials, though. Oh! Hello, Prayer. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. That's generally a pretty sensible way of doing this. Oh. Yep, where there's tunnels, there's rats. Now that we've got more health, we might be able to manage the Orphan of Cause pretty reasonably. I mean, I'm still expecting to die many, many, many times. Because Bloodborne is not really my game, but I think we can parry just enough of its attacks to whittle it down over time, especially since, as we saw yesterday, the second phase seems much easier, but I'm just a little gun-shy and wanting to, like, buff this character up as much as we can on the front end. Good thing we didn't stop. And I did check to see exactly how much Chalice Dungeon original content we may not be able to see during this playthrough. Oh yeah, our odd little headpiece, I think it's technically called a milkweed or something like that, does provide very, very light bioluminescence. Not nearly as much as my little hip lantern, but I mean, I guess that's something it does. Alright, come on. Come on. No, not like that. Not like that. Give me one of the big ones. Come on. No. Well, that'll do. Either way. It's a pretty neat detail, though. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. These games, the entire, like, modern From Software line, so Bloodborne, Demon Souls, and the Dark Souls trilogy, they all have phenomenal attention to aesthetic detail. Something I really appreciate about them. Far more so than, like, their notorious difficulty, I would say. Bloodborne's actually come the closest to sending me into a full-on conniption out of everything we've played on stream. It's a really cool game, especially very cool looking, but merciless. Precisely why I'm trying to get it over and done with before the semester starts. Oh, right, but I did look up all of the Chalice Dungeon content, specifically as it pertains to bosses, enemies, that kind of thing, to see how much we wouldn't be able to get around to in this preview, may have to save for later. And it's honestly not too much. There's like 2 different variants of the Bloodletting Beast, the large kind of maimed lichen thing that was waiting down at the bottom of the fixed Lower Themeru Chalice Dungeon. And there's a couple, like I think those silvery werewolf things from the Otherworldly Nightmare serve as mini-bosses in, like, another dungeon, but other than that and Queen Yarnum, there's not really a whole lot we haven't seen. So that makes me quite happy that I'm not just, like, shorting you guys on a ton of content right now. And again, we probably will get back to this game just for the Chalice dungeon runs at some time. So we've got church servants and dogs. Good. At least they're not those bizarre, like, demon dogs that the Keepers of the Old Lords keep around with them. I can't say I found anything I prefer to my Blades of Mercy through the game, but the Rikuyo's got a really solid moveset and damage output for, like, a backup, which is exactly what we need it for right now. Oop, yeah, I could have seen that coming. I was hoping, like, our iframes might kick in and we would survive, but no, I should have known better. Fortunately, the Rikuyo actually grants us thanks to that blood gem we inserted yesterday, very slow health regeneration, which should have time to work its magic as I climb my way back on up. Anything over here? Have we explored everything down here? Of course, this is all purely randomized side content, so these corridors might be lined with really important items, or they might be totally empty. Ran into one off-stream, like as I was working to build this character up just a little, that was like an entire level of the dungeon was, like, entirely empty. Strange, that. Oh wait, and if we're not putting the blades to use right now, might as well get the cane back out. My other favorite weapon. We're over here. Yeah, here we go. So where's the break in the axes? Oh, there genuinely isn't one. Okay. There we are. Never seen them arranged like that. I've seen, like, sets of 2 consecutively before, but never anything quite like that. Oh! Poison throwing knives, hello. And hello, Shrek. Let's get rid of you first. Ooh, yeah, no, we weren't going to make that. There we are. Don't want to waste too many of these blood vials, but we're going to need to at least get down one level. As I said, I just wanted to show you guys what one of the randomized dungeons looks like. In terms of aesthetics, purely identical to the set ones. But with a slightly higher chance, I think, of giving you some interesting, purely optional loot. Like, I picked up a couple of those quote-unquote uncanny weapons that have different, like, gem/materia slots from the standard variants, so, I mean, that's something. Unfortunately, they weren't upgraded and weren't particularly astounding. And boss time. Here we go. What shall it be, floor 1? Probably a pig, right? There's been a lot of pigs. Well, what do you know? It is a pig. This is a boss. Still. Well, we know how to deal with this. Still doesn't get old. Ooh! It caught me with that one. And that one. Okay, we're sticking to the strategy. Oh, jeez! I've never seen one do that before. Have we? We might have. Okay, that charge attack is not coming out fast enough, and I'm being humiliated by a pig. Bloodborne! And it says brutal. Oh no, yes. Believe me, it is. So, charge attack might come out a little faster here. There we go. I mean, it got me as well, but there we go. That's it. I've got to stop being so greedy there. Jesus. There we are. Gotta get, like, just a little distance between us and the boar. Hey, MZ, how's it going, man? Hope you're having a good day so far. We are fighting my favorite Chalice dungeon boss, who, thanks to running a couple randomized dungeons late last night, I've seen about 5 times now. MCS, how boring is the fight? Since we don't have the Blades of Mercy and their incredibly quick, strong attack, not as boring as you'd think. There it is. I feel so accomplished. It only took half my healing items to kill a pig via colonoscopy. I am... yeah, I deserve my multiple degrees, alright? So, learned a little something last night, and it's affected the way we've built this character. Since I ran several randomized Chalice dungeons off-screen, just to see if we couldn't scare up some more echoes or blood gems or anything to help us with these boss fights. Unlike in Dark Souls, our standard healing item, the Blood Vial, heals a flat percentage of your health, no matter what your max health value is. So the more health you have, the more points you have into Vitality, the more health you heal every single time you heal. Meaning, while we're probably not going to avert some of the crazy one-shots, we have made ourselves a lot more survivable thanks to me actually figuring out how the game works at the 11th hour. Also, I stopped by Central Yarnum and killed a beast lurking outside of our buddy Gilbert's house, believed to be what was left of him after he succumbed to the curse, and picked up a slightly more powerful Claw Mark rune. You know, the one that strengthens our parries and backstabs. Now that we've got that, what else do we want for this guy? Stamina. Stamina's fine. Oh, we could plunk down both Claw Mark runes. So, yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. And let's remember to actually repair our weapon this time. That'd probably help as well. I tried upgrading the Whirligig Saw just to see how we could use it, or how effectively we could use it. It's got a phenomenal moveset, but since we're not a strength character, doesn't deal quite as much damage as I would like. Now this is a real weapon. Okay, so let's level up one more time, folks. Pick up some supplies, and then try taking on the Orphan of Cause, the last of our major Old One fights until the very end of the game. A couple more times. And I found out, because I was curious, I did want to see like what the community's best strategies and things like that were. As it happens, a lot of its attacks are just kind of not impossible, but just short of impossible to parry without taking some kind of damage and getting knocked far away. So, want to be cognizant of that. MCS, did we get rid of Lawrence? No, he's going to be saved for afterwards. He's A, optional, and B, probably, well, we know for a fact, he's not something I have to take on without a member of the League around for assistance. So, I'm saving him for last. We are almost done with Bloodborne. I'm mentally preparing myself for 3 hours of anguished screaming and cursing, but... I actually really like this fight, especially now that we're going to be a little bit tougher. I do love its moveset, and the sound effects, dear God, the sound effects, the screaming. It's a very impactful fight. It feels hectic, but the environment, like the aesthetic surrounding the fight and the lore context, it's so sad in a way. Did find out as well, in the original Japanese, this boss had a much cooler name. Instead of the Orphan of Cause, they gave it something that I think reflects its design a bit better, which is the Infant Grown Old. First off, that sounds properly Lovecraftian, and second, that's kind of what it is. How y'all doing? Just blending in here. See, I'm one of you. Alright, let's do this. Here it goes. Get ready for it. Oh, I also learned something else. We want to stay away from what remains of Cause. Oh, that damage, good God. I'm sure there's a way to parry that, I just don't have the timing down. There we go. Let's see how much damage this does. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the truth. Hey! I mean, I highly doubt we're going to have a Maria situation here, but I'm glad that we're learning the fight, maybe at least. Phase 2? Phase 2? Wings, baby? Yep, here it comes. Whew. Oh, Jesus. This is madness. Sorry I'm not that talkative, but God almighty. Our range is just too short to backstab him effectively. Ooh. Ooh, jeez. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so first phase, we're learning. The second phase, I've got no idea. Well, actually, sorry, I do have an idea. I saw something, like a comment somebody left on, like, one of the, I think, like, the wiki page or something, discussing strategy, and they said in the second phase, the best bet you have for parrying him, not like there's a ton of great options necessarily, is when he comes in for a melee attack, always indicated by the fact that he slows down, stops screaming, and starts like slowly trudging towards us. He'll raise his weapon directly to his side for a moment before going for an overhead smash or what have you. And there's a tiny window where we can clip him. MC says just first phase him so hard that he cannot second. Fun fact, he actually does not have a death animation for his untransformed first phase. Hannah says, you want to spur out some cool, almost wing-like things? Too bad, you're already dead. If only. It's possible, people have done it. It just has so much health. Which, I mean, is one of the game's final bosses, this is kind of what we'd expect. This is much better than Ludwig. This is 1,000 times better than Ludwig. Ooh, thought I could get the parry window there. Didn't. I mean, the Blades of Mercy are definitely the kind of weapon we want for this. Oh, jeez. What on earth happened to our timing? Give me my health back, thank you. What are we missing from the first round? Am I too fast, too slow? What's... Yeah, that wasn't gonna be the run. So the extra health is helping, definitely, just not a whole lot. MC says too fast, I feel. Yeah, there's this weird interval between typically when it screams and it attacks. And the interval is not quite as short as I seem to be anticipating it to be. MC says you might be fighting as if he was second phase. That's part of it too. He's a lot like a couple Dark Souls 3 bosses in that regard, in that his telegraphs are deliberately staggered, very slightly. I mean, it makes sense because he's hefting around an absolutely massive weapon. One of the coolest and most disgusting trick weapons in the game. But, like, there's this part of you, yeah, that wants to react to an audio cue instead of a visual one. A childhood spent playing rhythm games, I assume, is to blame for that. Hey, there we go. Oh, too late. How much blood is in that damn thing? Oh well, it's Yarnum. The answer is a ton. Come on. Apparently that is prime backstab opportunity right there. I didn't get it in time. Jesus! The range on that. strangest AoE. It's never centered on itself. At least I can take comfort in the fact that he's every bit as confused by all of this as I am. There we go. Finally. I mean, this is not gonna be the run, but we're learning. There is, oh so technically, a third phase to this fight, by the way. Not with him, though. He's gone once we finally manage to whittle him down. I mean, there's a part of me that just wishes I could, like we could communicate with them, make peace, like, tell them what time it is. 12:15? Yeah, anybody? Do we have to do this? MC says if only there was a rocket launcher. Oh, yeah. If only we could get his weapon as a reward for the fight. What we get is really cool. But it's not quite that cool. Looks a lot better, just I love the moveset that this guy has. There we are. Uh-oh, here it comes. Yeah. Oh, we actually managed to close the gap that time. Okay, okay. Oh my god, I mean, we still might not get it this time, but we are learning. Oh, gotta... No! No! Oh, that was going so well, too. Problem is, he's got a lot of attacks, like Ludwig's, for instance, that are designed to hit prone characters. We're learning, though. One thing I am definitely learning is he's actually nowhere near as dangerous up close as he looks. It's those mid-range charging attacks that just absolutely level us every time. And if we can get some backstabs in response to his little charging upward diagonal cleave, we can whittle this down. The only problem's gonna be, okay, how do we respond to the second phase, then? Because he's got parry windows, they're just very, very strange. And we've not seen his most powerful attack yet, for the record. He can call on what's left of his mother's power to help whittle us down in the second phase, and we definitely don't want to get hit by that. MC says I jinxed it? Yeah, probably, honestly. Oh, yeah, that's the one we always get clipped by. Oh god, the range on some of these suckers. What is it with, like, his parry vulnerability window? It seems very short, even by this game's standards. Ooh. There we go. The sounds it makes are so horrifying. Jesus, what? I have no idea what happened there. Okay. We're still alive, though. Still alive, that's all that matters. Oh! Hate it when that happens. Wow. MC says it feels like you missed the parry because you hesitate to commit to it, not always. Oh no, that's not the problem. It's that it has several attacks that look very, very similar, but have different execution times. So I'm constantly trying to gauge, okay, which window are we going for here? And most of those telegraphs, like, the execution times are longer than it feels like they are. It's not like Ludwig, where we just couldn't parry him and that was the problem, and he was just ridiculously fast. This guy's attacking non-stop, but his attacks themselves, aside from, like, that very close-range melee combo, are not that fast. There's just not a whole lot we can really do about him. We're learning this. We're getting there, slowly but surely. It's also possible that we just can't parry all of its attacks. Uh-oh. Oh, that's got some crazy radius. That one's designed specifically to punish that exact dodge. Oh, I'm so bad at this. So bad at this! God. Jesus! Thing is, it fights and moves in an oddly similar fashion to like a standard NPC, and that's intentional, I believe, but God, we had a couple of really good runs early on, and I'm just sucking now for some reason. I mean, it has a weakness to bolt, but we can't really buff this weapon. And our others are just a little too slow to do a whole lot to it. And I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain it deals exclusively physical and blood damage. Largely physical damage, but like all of its ranged attacks have, I think, pure blood attributes. God. I'm sorry, we'll get this eventually. Hey Shiver, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate you. I'm glad you've tuned into the streams and hope you're enjoying. This is gonna be something of a grind today, but so glad you're here. And hope everybody's having a wonderful day, of course. I think we may also be having a hard time with this because even though it can be parried, unlike, say, Gwen and Maria, this is not intended to be like a pure parry boss. Sure does love its jumping attacks, doesn't it? Hello, Shiver. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, Exit. How's it going, man? We're nearing the end here. We just got a couple very difficult challenges ahead of us. Hope you're doing well, by the way. There we go. Oh, are you kidding me? Walk straight through it. Oh, come on. Every time we have a good run, we just get iced by one of those combos. I'm trying to fight this like a parry boss, like we did with most of the humanoid bosses in this game. Not entirely sure that's the right way to go about it, though. Exit says, am I distracting you? Oh, no, not at all. And by the way, I don't know if you saw in the Discord, but I'm thinking at some point in the future, once I finally get my capture card set up and a proper streaming setup, of having panel commentary live over Discord or something like that for games in the future. If that's something you'd be into, I know you're contributing that to Seth's Dark Souls 3 live streams, so if that's something anybody'd be interested in, of course you're always welcome to reach out. I especially would like to have folks to provide some kind of insight or trivia during these sections of games where we're just grinding towards an objective, more or less. Oh, gotcha! No! That one, the tell is easy. It's immediately at the end of his sound clip. As soon as he's done screaming... But there's another attack that looks almost just like it. There it was. You unleash. Oh, Lord. Oh, the reward for this is so worth it, though. This is a very good fight, actually. It's insanely hard, but it feels consistently fair. It's just a lot stronger than you. Like, a lot stronger. Like, this is the old one's version of a hunter. That's, I believe, in fact, the lore. As part of her dying curse, Cause decided to give the Yharnam hunters, or then the Bergenworth hunters, a taste of their own medicine. And, it worked. It really worked. As the whole reason for the existence of the hunter's nightmare is to keep this thing locked up. Like the Healing Church, granted that they were no saints, no pun intended, absolutely loathed what could happen if this thing got loose into the world. Okay, so your AoE actually doesn't damage us. That's good to see, I suppose. Oh, heaven help me. Hey, we actually got one! I mean, I didn't capitalize on it, but we got one! Just wait for him to go into melee mode. And it becomes a bullet hell all of a sudden. Yeah, I've got no idea how we're gonna handle that. We managed to get a parry in, and then it just switched to projectile attacks and never stopped. I'm guessing we might have to just stay at an uncomfortably close distance the entire time. And stay far away from what remains of Cause. Exit says, sure, I'd love you. Not now though, I'm on vacation. Not a problem, man. Hope you're enjoying your vacation, by the by. As much as anybody can right now. Exit says, still this fight took less tries for me than Lady Maria. So, she gave me a really hard time, at the end of our stream 2 days ago. Then, oddly enough, for whatever reason, after, it was the strangest thing. Say, okay, we've reached like 3.5 hours, whatever, time to hang it up. The very first attempt the next day, I think... MC, we didn't get a no-hit run, but it was damn close. She just came out with a series of really weird, basic attacks. And Exit says, now imagine doing this with a slower weapon. So, that sounds really rough, but I also read that he is weak to, he's weak, or easily staggered. That's a double-edged sword, however, because while it can, like, interrupt him, apparently he can segue into other attacks, animations really easily from a stagger. So, yeah, that doesn't sound fun. Hannah says I'm on a wiki dive. I have so many tabs open. Oh, I know that. I feel that, rather. And it's just for some reason fighting offshore? Yeah. So, what we want to do specifically is stay away from the corpse of Cause in the center. Because if we go near or specifically on her, especially in the second phase, he will freak out. This is such a sad fight, though, like... The fact that I'm getting absolutely annihilated by a baby aside, this is a very sad fight. You know, for this stage of the game, he really doesn't have just an overabundance of health. I mean, he's got enough, believe me, he's got enough, but... Thanks for the help, though, Hannah. We actually can fight offshore, I think without any fear of falling into the ocean, but just never tried that. Whoop. Oh yeah, he can get us on the backswing. The one thing that makes this fight very tricky, actually, is that most of his attacks involve just dragging the weapon along the ground, creating a zone of denial. Ooh, so close. So close on that one. That's more like it. Comes. Holy Moses! There we go, baby. Yeah. Uh-oh. He's calling for some help from Mom. Keep working on that James Brown impression, buddy. You've almost got it. Oh, did I... Damn it. Uh-oh, here it comes. No! Oh! Oh, jeez. So I was right. Once you get into melee range, in the second phase, it's really not that bad. The problem is, it doesn't want to stay in melee range. And it says, oh yeah, I think it recommends it because the terrain is less uneven and it's another direction you can take to get further from cause. I am trying that now, because we ultimately got screwed by being squished up against a wall. And exit says both Hannah and exit say so close. Yes, it was. I am heartbroken right now. But we're so close. We're so close to getting our special weapon. That, I mean, I'm certain I'm not going to have time to use much, but, still. One second, gonna take a drink, because I need it. Alright, so let's take it to the ocean. Oh yeah, we got plenty of room out here. Oh, I hate it when that happens. That is the like, third time that's happened where we just phase through him when he's vulnerable to a parry. Have we seen that happen with other enemies before? This isn't gonna be the run. I'm not sure what that does when he grabs some blood from the weapon but then doesn't do anything with it. Is that a buff, or... Give me my health back, thank you, sir. I keep trying to get, like, the like, second swing there, and it's not cooperating. Okay, so he's going to power up. Or so I thought. There it goes. Oh, that would have got it, I thought. That's a lot like the Bloodstarved Beast's cleave, isn't it? Where it goes cascading along the floor. Oh god, not that. Come on, buddy, melee range. You know you want to. Come on now. Come on. Yes! Yes, yes, yes! Whew. Shiver says, just to clarify, I don't have the patience for this. Good fight, though. It is. It's well designed, but really rough, difficult. Thank you very much, Hannah. I'm glad to have you guys along for this. And notice we got my weapon, finally. Aesthetically, my favorite weapon in the game, when I saw it in my friend's playthrough. But, we're not done here. We have not beaten the boss. Because that thing wasn't the boss. No, instead, Old Kaz, the otherworldly but benevolent guardian deity of this fishing village, who made contact with and assisted but was ultimately abused and slain by the scholars of Bergenworth. And so, by, ultimately, the good old hubris of humanity inadvertently started this entire mess of curses and hunts and pale blood, is just still barely hanging on. Not able to do anything, but helpless. And if we want to end the hunter's nightmare and send countless souls to their well-deserved rest, we have to send her to hers first. Like I said, this is not a fun fight. This, in the context of the lore, doesn't make you feel good. You've just killed a terrified child for the second time, and now you have to finish off something alien and benevolent and ultimately misunderstood by severing the cord of its soul. How do you... There's a very specific way to do this, I think, or we just have to... There we go. Nightmare slain.
Sweet child of Kos turned to the ocean. A bottomless curse, a bottomless sea, accepting of all that there is and can be.
Oh man, I'm so glad to have you guys along for the ride for this one, because Exit asked, did you kill the boss at the start, the one in the rebuilt cathedral? We have not killed Lawrence yet. I had a big old stash of blood vials and things like that, and I wanted to make sure I had them for the Orphan of Kos before we go try to take on Lawrence. With Volter, who I learned yesterday, you kinda want for that fight just about as much as for Ludwig, because Lawrence is, like, cast from HP. So, that Kos parasite weapon, as I said, if you attempt to use it without the Milkweed rune, you just have a slightly more powerful magic-enhanced physical attack. But as it is now, when the carcass of Kos washed up on the coast, its insides were teeming with tiny parasites, unlike any found in humans. This atypical weapon can only be clasped tight and swung, but a cause parasite is said to stimulate phantasms inhabiting Illuminwood, like the thing growing out of our head. Yay! Let me show y'all what this is all about. So you go over to the cause parasite, and notice we've just got this little, like, fleshy-looking tentacle hanging out of our right limb. Now, I know what you're thinking, Brady, that isn't all that impressive. No, no, no. We now get to fight as an old one. Yeah! Check that out. Oh, don't you know this would just kill in, like, player versus player combat? Nobody'd have any idea what's going on. Now, if we transform, we can two-hand it. Yeah! Oh, this looks so cool. Why do they have to give you this at the tail end of the game? It's so good! It's so good! And it says, oh, that is a fun animation, almost seems out of your character's control. I believe that's because, based on how I understand, this game gives you a copious, almost excessive amount of lore on the process by which normal human beings can be, like, inhabited or transformed into, like, old ones. Based on the lore we get, that's just about what's happening. Like, we have a parasite inside of us, or a series of parasites, that are cooperative. They're wanting to help us. And so, as long as we give them, like, the go-ahead through emotion or something, they kind of take over. I love this, like, little arcane burst attack, though. We hug the magic out of ourselves. Oh, and instead of rolling, we now have a slightly cooler-looking dodge. Flop, flop, flop. Oh my god, I love this. I'm going to go upgrade this just as much as we can. I think it is the weapon in the game with the most potent arcane scaling, right? Yeah. Yeah, which makes sense. Okay, we need more bloodstone, right. We got it up to +5. Let's fortify it just a little bit. Anything specifically for arcane? That'd probably be farther down, right? Yeah, there we go. Arcane up. And now, what about this? Add a powerful rapid poison effect. Yeah, why not? We are going to buy a level up real quick, and then head on first to Central Yarnum to try this out, because I am just overjoyed at finally earning this thing. But secondly, to, ended up putting it in Arcane instead. Secondly, we're going to head over to the Hunter's Nightmare one last time to take down Vicar Lawrence and get our second transformation rune. One that turns you into a monstrous lichen. I think that's built primarily for, what is it, probably Strength Blood Tinge characters instead of arcane characters like this. Then it's just on to the game's final bosses. The remaining Chalice Dungeon stuff I'll probably tackle in a New Game Plus cycle once we've developed our character a bit further. But like I said, suffice to say, aside from Queen Yarnum and like a variant of the Bloodletting Beast, there's not a whole lot in there we haven't already seen. Let's find a willing test subject. You, sir! As it does, says beast weapons like the claws. Yeah, beast weapons, probably the beast blood buff gets some additional strength with that particular weapon, right? Oh, and notice that when we perform heavy attacks, I believe, oh no, I thought, the bizarre plant on our head shined, or shone, but it didn't. There we are. So it's not the most powerful weapon in the game, certainly not. It has reasonable damage output, but it does just a phenomenal job of crowd control. Oh, look at my quick step. I'm literally being dragged in a given direction by the parasites. They're trying to keep us safe. Exit says the timing on these attacks are so hard to read. They are, which makes me think this would do gangbusters in PvP. Seriously, check this out. The quick step is so cool. Oh, that's precious. We're getting yanked around by the phantasms. This is the most adorable, horrible, eldritch abomination ever. I love it. Well, now that we've seen that our new weapon is every bit worth it, at least in terms of amusement, if not necessarily direct utility. And it says, friends you can wear. Yes, well, that is true. They are wearing us. And all this after we've struck down, really, a shameful number of them. I mean, I was hoping that instead of I mean, the whole milkweed thing looks really cool, but I was hoping that with that rune equipped, we would just transform into a big, bulky, celestial emissary, replete with those wet, smacking footstep sounds, and gelatinous wobbly head, and get to run around still just like cutting things down with a giant sword or what have you. Exit asks, what about the undead giant? We took the undead giant down. Right now, obviously a boss that is certainly doable, but like I'm waiting to save until like a new game plus, is the bloodletting beast first try. It's got an obscene amount of health, but is a pretty cool fight all around. I employed a very cheap strategy to wear down the undead giant. It was mostly just like looking for those rare windows where you could punish with a single attack. But I was able to chip down a lot of its health by whipping out like the Moonlight Sword and spamming its beams straight into his chest. Fully charged beams, of course. Because, you know, that's how we do things here on the Overanalyst channel. Cheaply. We've got 3 bosses left, and we are now just going to mainline all of them, and thereafter, because I haven't had time to download the Palette Cleanser game we're going to play next, with what remains of today's time, I'm going to tackle that sci-fi slash cosmic horror Souls-like that, again, I've heard very little about, but that looks kind of appealing. It's called Hellpoint. And we can check that out just to see kind of how we feel about it. Oh, wait. I'm afraid I can't fight this boss with my awesome, like, old one head, because we need to have the Rune of the League equipped in order to summon Involter, who is basically a deranged Victorian London constable who's going to do all of the work for us. Exit says Hellpoint is so bad. I've heard good things. I've not heard many things, but I've heard good things. And from what I saw, like the promotional screenshots and the like, they look absolutely gorgeous, to be fair. What do we want? Definitely want more stamina. Tell you what, how about a higher blood vial maximum, since visceral attacks ain't really a thing against this guy. Well, they are, they're just very, very difficult to acquire openings for, and boosts rally potential. Why not? Okie dokie. And I do get a distinct feeling that it might not be a cakewalk, but since we've leveled up and gotten so much gear and reinforcement and so many special runes from the DLC, or a couple anyway, the final bosses should be, like, again, not effortless, but they shouldn't be too bad. Not too bad. Blood vials, thank you very much. You have to take this boss run kinda slow, because not only are there traps, there's a giant executioner in the way that we... and that can happen. Oh my god. Even you guys are gonna give me one last little bit of sass, ain't you? Alright, that's fine. We can do it that way if you want to. Okay, so this thing can actually follow us pretty far into the church. I was not aware of that. I mean, I knew it could come in here, but not that it would... Oh, Valter, gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, don't gotcha. Exit says Valter for president. Well, I mean, yes, he's an awesome character, but there's the snarky political scientist in me that's like, well, if you actually look into it, his lore's all about seeing threats in people he doesn't understand that aren't actually there, so unfortunately, he'd probably have a shot. But no, he is a great support character, in all seriousness. That's the grab. Don't want to get hit by the grab. So this is what became of the type of people that decided it was a great idea to murder poor cause. This was their curse. Well, they didn't all turn into this. One of them turned into a really gnarly-looking reindeer. One was some kind of weird horse swordsman thing. A bunch of them just turned into werewolves. Bloodborne is a very strange game, the more I try to talk... No, you've got to be kidding me. That was the grab? No. Okay, I got you. Oh yeah, this is we've just hit the stage where it gets its combos, like it's serious combos. Now this is a fight that I think actually would be made far, far easier with a strength weapon, if only because its coverage up close is so good, and the damage we deal so paltry, like being able to stagger it more frequently would probably be a great boon. As Valter proved during, say, the Ludwig fight. Vicar, you alright there? I have no idea if you get easier or harder in the third phase. Please say easier. No. What? Oh, it can do this from Or it can grab enemies behind it now. Or maybe that's just what the grab looks like when one of its arms are crippled. Yep, here it comes. Oh god, Walter. Walter, you gotta hold this down, man. I've got no idea what I'm doing. Ah! Oh my god, your range! Huh, huh. Wait, I've got the choir bell. Hold on, buddy. I got you. Looks like we can't even damage it from behind. And we're dead. Because it has a combo that just goes on forever. This is the one boss I'm seriously considering just, like, writing off. Like, is this worth it? Like a reskin of the very first boss in the game with an additional third phase? Would be if we were going for that beast rune. I've seen what people can do with that, and it is genuinely good. But we'll give it a couple more tries. We'll give it a couple more tries, then on to the finals regardless, because I really do want to get into those. As I said, I have cleared everything but the final bosses before, never even fought either of them, because I think I got distracted during my original playthrough. It would have been right around my very first midterms in college. And, no, my second set of midterms in spring semester of my first year. And I just, like, never picked the game back up again for whatever reason. I'm awful with that, just getting distracted and leaving games and series and things like that half done. So I'm not entirely sure what we're supposed to do about that third phase. It looks like we can damage it from the side, but not from behind. It's got a really powerful, wide-ranging cleave to the side. And it, oh my god. Oh my god! Oh my god! Hate these things. There's only like 3 of them in the DLC, but... Ugh. The problem is he's just got that crawling combo that does really respectable damage for what it is, and never ends. And I don't think we can, like, parry him at all. You can hit his head enough times that he'll open himself up for a critical attack, but that's quite hard to do in the first phase, and probably not advisable in the second. And I don't entirely know the best way to deal with that other than just running away. At least we're staying up on our blood vials. Just a moment. Sorry guys, got someone at the door, or maybe just a package, but let me get to a safe place and then I'll go see what's going on. Oh my god. Alright, be right back. Alright, we're good. Looks like, just some mail, which I can grab when we are done here. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that, folks. Hey, Exit, you got any advice for this fight, man? For a build like this, anyway? I mean, I'm pretty sure with a strength weapon, like staggering or stunning him would be much, much more viable. We've brought them in. Stop chasing me! I'm at the boss door. I am at the boss door. Exit says watch out for that swing, it goes all around him. Something that DLC bosses are very fond of, those like huge cleaves. So, real quick, I'm gonna fire the old silencing blank and call our buddy back in, since he's already used up some of his heals. It does not respawn until we go to a lamp, does it? Where's the bell ringer around here? Oh, hello. And yeah, he doesn't respawn unless we go run through all that again. This boss run is actually the worst part of this fight. It's a little long by Bloodborne standards. Exit says no idea what to do with that dex build of yours. I was able to stun him a few times with a heavy weapon. Yeah, no, that's generally the best way to work the beast bosses, I find. After this, though, I'm thinking, yeah, one of the final bosses, since I'm totally unaccustomed to them, might be, like, a little challenging, but given our stats and equipment and all that, the other one should be cake. MC says Dex build is the best. I would agree, or it's my favorite, I shall say. MC says a Monster Hunter World player. Oh, man. Yeah, I've not played a ton of Monster Hunter. I think it's a brilliant series, and I can definitely see the appeal, but I usually go for, like, either lighter weapons or, I think, spears or lances, was it? I quite enjoyed using one or the... I think they're one and the same, really. I think they're spears that just look like lances. And Exit says, hey, he moves his attack slowly, so I have to move slow, too. That's fine. I would imagine... not just like Vaulters, but a thoroughly kitted out and upgraded whirligig saw would absolutely destroy him. MC says, I go longsword and heavy bowgun. Never used the bowguns, but I always found them fascinating. I love the idea of, in a game like that, crafting your own ammo. Like, for the situation. That's just brilliant. Wait a minute. What on earth are they still doing here? For that matter, in the context of the lore, what on earth is any of this still doing here? We killed the old ones that were still fueling the dream. There should be nothing holding anybody here, nothing holding any of this together anymore. Right? Like... Come on. No, 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 no. Falter this way. Don't you there you go. There you go. Alrighty. Let's try this one more time. Likes to open with the big, like, explosive swing. What kind of animal is this even supposed to resist? Well, actually, it's been noted by a whole lot of people that it very vaguely resembles certain depictions of the Wendigo. A primarily native North American cryptid that is either the cursed form of, or, like, in some cases, an undead version of those who consume the flesh of humans, so cannibals. And, yeah, kind of. Oh, we just broke both of its legs. Which actually makes the third phase make a whole lot more sense. Exodus says, Dachshund on steroids. I mean, it must be really juicing, but okay. I think it has the most health out of any opponent in the DLC, and maybe any opponent in the base game aside from the Chalice Dungeon stuff. Oh my god. Walter, don't you die. You useless. Yeah, so I'm honestly seriously tempted to just, like, use a mulligan on this one, like, you don't get a really significant reward that I'm going to use, and it is just the first boss with a gazillion health and a third phase. Yeah, I'm tempted to head to the Hunter's Dream and just, like, bring the sucker in. Trust me, you're still gonna get your money's worth of great fights. That one's just, kind of like the bonus bosses from the DLC in Dark Souls 2. That one's not very impressive. For the record, I don't think we ever talked about those. The bonus boss of the first DLC, Crown of the Sunken King, was, like, actually really good. It was 3 NPCs, one of which was Havel the Rock from the first game, whose abilities and movesets complemented each other perfectly. The second was just another smelter demon that happened to deal magic damage instead of fire. And the third was, okay, remember Ava the King's Pet, the giant, like, saber-toothed tiger thing? 2 of those. 2 at once. That was it. So I think we may or may not be good here. MC says, I'd say someone coming out of a rave at 4 a.m. I could definitely see that, right down to the incessant, really hoarse screaming. Fair. And Exit says, try to stay at his side at the second phase. He's hard to dodge when you get in front of him. It just... I don't know. I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm going to carry on with that particular fight, if only because it feels a little extraneous at this point. We've done everything else in the game, Chalice Dungeons aside. So I think we might be good. Since you guys aren't going to get cheaped, you've got 2 boss fights I've never attempted right around the corner. I am sorry, man. We came so close, but it's like, probably not worth it today. Let's purchase what we can. And let's get ready to parry like there's no tomorrow. I don't know much about the fight coming up, but I do know that we're going to want to parry. Like, a lot. Almost exclusively. As it says, I won't let you do squats. I appreciate that. I feel so bad for Seth at certain junctures of those streams. Because if it were me, I would have just, like, died so many times my legs give out halfway through the occasion. Well, thanks for all you've done. Very, very uncomfortable Lady Maria automaton. Thanks, Bath Messengers. You're unsettling, but wow, you were a lot of help. I dare say I'm going to miss you guys. Oh, look at them all cheering us on. These are the real MVPs right here. Yeah, so, as she said, Gurman's waiting for us in the garden that was closed off for most of the game. Y'all already know where this is going, right? What a beautiful arena, though, right? A very similar arena is used for the final battle in Sekiro. And kinda sorta Dark Souls 3. FromSoft really loves their fields of flowers and or tall grass. We've got all of these crucifixes that burning beasts were hung up on earlier in the game. And here's our old buddy Gurman, who seems entirely unconcerned that his workshop is on fire.
Good hunter, you've done well. The night is near its end. Now, I will show you mercy.
Notice that he is missing not just a foot, but I believe one leg.
Get the dream and awake under the morning sun. You will be freed from this terrible hunter's dream.
So yeah, this is the choice he's offering us. He'll kill us, like, effectively, for good, in the dream, cast us out and let us wake up with all of this seeming to be a terrible nightmare. He's offering to set us free, but the implication there is the horrible state of things in and around Yharnam, this city cast into an unending nightmare by its own hubris, won't change. This cycle of just culling beasts instead of eliminating the root cause every so often will continue. And no, we've got a better way. I promise you, we've got a better way. But he's not offering us a choice. He's done this many, many times.
Dear, oh dear. What was it? The hunt? The blood? Or the horrible dream?
Oh, I should have equipped my claw mark runes before this, damn it. But we got this. In a few tries we will anyway.
It doesn't matter.
I do really like his armor.
It always comes down to the hunter's helper to clean up after these sorts of messes.
Time to be introduced to his special trick weapon,
Tonight,
the burial blade. Yeah, so he doesn't seem to have a ton of health, and he... Oh my god, he's... Yeah, that's what I was expecting. He's a parry-based boss, I know that for a fact. Hannah says, a scythe, marvelous. Oh, it really is. And I believe the blade detaches and serves as like a curved sword. like a falchion or something, we can get the burial blade after killing him. But that's gonna take a little doing. Now let me equip my runes right quick, because I want to be able to parry him right on down. Exit says it's one of the best trick weapons in the game. That's what I've heard. I've heard, like, right up there with Ludwig's Holy Sword and the Blades of Mercy, it was probably the best weapon in the game at launch. There we go. Good, good. We get good damage on him. Ooh. Now remember, he's not in charge of the Hunter's Dream. He just kind of oversees it on behalf of someone else. His combos are really good. Really, really good. Does he have a special firearm as well, like a hand cannon or something? No, it's just a big old blunderbuss, I think. What is this? He's really tall, isn't he? Oh, of course. Oh, and now he can teleport. Well, he's using the old Hunter's Bone, which we can as well, but have no reason to here. Oh, of course, he taught Maria. He would know her attacks as well. Or rather, she would know his. She used a very similar version of that teleportation move. There we go. Oh, too late. No, no! Oh, of course you can do it to us. This is a good fight. Are you kidding me? Whew. Oh, damn it. So he's got 3 phases. And like a lot of humanoid bosses, the first phase is just like, appears to be a standard, like, status buff. But then after he, I guess, calls on the power of the moon or something, which makes sense, believe me, it's gonna make a whole lot more sense in a minute. He becomes superhumanly fast, and MC says this gives me Final Fantasy VIII vibes. Yeah, it kinda does, doesn't it? God. So It looks like in Phase 1, the trick is he has significant delays to all, or most of his telegraphs. And in in the one-handed form, he's got effectively none. Like, I mean no telegraphs. There we are. Finally. And remember, he's doing all of this with a peg leg. He does not have the range of motion we do, not nearly. Oh god, here it comes. Oh, so we could do that at, like, a very close range, too. There we go. God, look at that suit. It's gorgeous. It's got, like, underneath the cloak, he's wearing, like, a wine-colored suit, right? So we got the old hunter badge that allows us, I expect, to get his armor and the burial blade, but it's time to meet his boss, the supervisor of the hunter's dream and the being responsible for all of these hunts of beasts, of old ones, of people. It's basically a rogue old one that set all of this up, or took advantage of the conflict between Yharnamites and the Old Ones to kill all of its brethren. But since we absorbed, like, all of the Eldritch knowledge from those, like, umbilical cord parasites, it's not able to dominate us the same way it did Gurman. Now, this is not going to be our run because we have next to no healing items or bullets, but we can take this thing. Meet the Moon Presence. Does its fighting style look a little familiar? It probably should. What have we seen that fights or moves a lot like that? Oh my god. That's right, it does have a special attack that'll drain our health to nothing. So on the whole, it's nowhere near as bad as Gurman, like, special attack aside. Wow, first try. Okay, I heard the Moon Presence was easier than Gurman, but I wasn't expecting it to be that easy. Well, that's the Hunter's Dream. Exit says, for Gurman, you need to double roll if the plan is trying to stay close in Phase 3. I could see that now. I think his range extends as well, right? Well, we've done it. And now we have the opportunity to make things better for these people. That's us, somehow. We have acquired enough Eldritch knowledge to become an old one ourselves. But not without memory, not without conscience, with all of the knowledge of who we were and what we went through. And, we got the Childhood's Beginning trophy and ending. And now, the implication is, Yharnam the hunter's dream, the quote-unquote nightmare, since we cleared out most of the malicious, or at the very least, aggrieved old ones, we're in charge now. And maybe as the old ones initially intended, as Abraetus did, we can create a better future for these people. That's the most involved ending to earn, but I wanted to get it in part because A, who doesn't want to be a squid, as the phenomenal sales of Splatoon would attest, but B, because it also seems kind of like the most hopeful ending. Instead of cutting and running from the city, or just kind of slaying Gurman in the Moon Presence and being like, what now? Or being forced to oversee the dream yourself, we're able to create a better world, or at least have some part in it. Exit says, well done, sir. That's going to be it for me. Take care and talk to you soon. We'll talk ideas on Discord. Sure thing, man. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the series. I'm so glad I got to meet you and the rest of your crew through this series. So glad to have you along for the ride. Thank you so much. Always appreciate you. And Hannah says, you've become Squid, similar to your Parasite friends. I know. We now have, like, they can act as our executive cabinet. We will run this city together. And MC says there's another way to read it. That whole hunt thing was way too much fun. Let's make more. You could. But the Moon Presence is implied to have, like, orchestrated the hunt entirely on its own. Good fights? Night-night? Alright, Shiver, take care, man. So glad to see you. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for the follow. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Okay, so, I do apologize for the neighbor's dog if you can hear it. Bloodborne, what do we think in all? I ultimately have to say, as we have several times throughout the run, at least part of our failings were ultimately on me, because apparently our character didn't have quite as much health as probably should have for a lot of that run, but my points still largely stand. Oh, it's Murgo's boss theme again. In one particular ending, this is the final boss's theme. I think that's just so cool. 1 second, I'll get back to this in a minute. I'm taking a drink. MC says, poor design, great story. I won't even go that far. As upset as certain sections of the DLC may have made me. I'm going to say, like, flawed design, particularly in regards to balance and a couple of the newer mechanics, but overall, like, very competent design, with a lot of cool iterations on the formula that were not present in Dark Souls. Transforming trick weapons, the introduction of a ranged parry system just for this game, the rally system, which would actually make a return as the effect of a special ring in Dark Souls 3, which is really cool. All of that's great. And the setting, the story, the lore, I love cosmic horror so much, so I think it's just a brilliant, brilliant game from a design perspective, like the whole package. But, yeah, the gameplay can feel kind of cumbersome and unduly punishing at times, by the standards of this franchise. To be fair, and MC, you may be able to back me up here, having, like, experimented with the first one yourself, Dark Souls is a very challenging series, but in terms of difficulty, it's not quite as hard as, like, its reputation would hold it to be in the public zeitgeist. Difficult certainly, but not just, like, ridiculously so. This game, on the other hand, is punishingly difficult at various points, and especially throughout the DLC. With a lot of really abrupt difficulty spikes and valleys that I feel weren't present in such a number in the earlier entries in the series. So it feels like they're experimenting with a bunch of new concepts, they're trying a radically different approach when it comes to with a similar formula, and for a first stab at that, it's very, very respectable. It's a good game, it really is, it's a great game. But it doesn't feel as rewarding, as kind of familiar, as encouraging in many ways as Dark Souls 1 and especially Dark Souls 2. I'd love to see them take a crack at this world and set of mechanics again for a sequel, because I think it really is something special they have here. And we don't have enough great cosmic horror games that aren't like just traditional 90s style adventure games. We really don't. We need more of those. Let's talk bosses, honestly, because that's been one of my favorite things to discuss as we've gone through this series. What are some of our favorites, folks? I could tell you right off the bat, some of the bosses I really, really enjoyed were Lady Maria. The public consensus on that was right. Orphan of Cause was excruciating, and it was about as difficult as any, like, totally fair boss could be in this game, I feel, and I really liked it as a result. Just for the look and the unique little mechanic, not at all for, like, the fight itself. I love the Celestial Emissary fight, because I love those little dudes so much. Ebrietas was a great fight. Didn't see a whole lot of Gurman, since we were pretty robust by the time we got around to him, but I quite enjoyed his fight. But I think the best fight in the game, in my opinion, easily, and we're just going around to a New Game Plus cycle now, was the Shadows of Yharnam. Easily. Being forced to negotiate 3 enemies who individually were just slightly weaker than you, with insanely powerful attacks, with each gaining new attacks as the fight progressed and you eliminated others. With 2 of them starting out with ranged options, we've done this before. It's a really brilliant fight all around, and I absolutely adore it. I think it's the very best they've done with this set of mechanics as presented in this game. Phenomenal fight. It really, I didn't mention them, but all of the old one fights are excellent as well, from both a lore and a mechanical perspective. Can't say there was a single one of them I disliked, really. How about least favorite fights? Anything that just stuck out as awful, aside from Ludwig? Ludwig probably takes the cake for my least favorite boss in the game. Not because of necessarily how hard he was, but for the obscene amount of one-hit kill or near one-hit kill attacks he had, and the fact that they came out near endlessly. That wasn't a good fight. The Witches of Hemwick, I absolutely adore from a design perspective, but I feel like a little bit more could be going on in that fight to make it more interesting, more engaging, more kinetic, for a game that prioritizes speed and kind of frantic action so much. There could be a few more things like sporadic magic attacks or zone denial effects present in the fight. Dark Beast Pearl, for looking so cool, was just kind of meh. I like the idea that it's a skeleton and therefore really frail. You're able to get it down and dissipate its electricity really easily, but it seems like even when it was fully powered up, it didn't do a whole lot. MC says, I find Moon Presence to be disappointing. I've actually read 2 different takes on that. Yours is one common one, yeah, but I've heard people also say, yeah, but consider what it means in the lore. Gurman effectively is the real final boss as it's designed, as he's obviously intended to be more challenging than the moon presence. You kill him, and provided you've like consumed enough eldritch insight through the umbilical cord parasites, you are now so powerful that the master of the hunt cannot control you. That's why after we repulsed it in that cutscene, if you notice, it like started backing away in a like prostrate stance. It was afraid of us. It was meant to be kind of a victory lap fight, is what I'm thinking. But I agree with you, more could have been happening. I love its visual design, though. Its visual design was beautiful. It looked like one of these lichens we fight throughout the game, with the general design aesthetics and, like, sort of visual hallmarks of an old one. I think that was great. Trying to think. There's got a lot of the Chalice Dungeon bosses were intended to be like just simple mini bosses, so I can't really knock them for that. But I did find the Undead Giants as a whole to be just a little disappointing. MC says it's like the Hand of Fate 2 final boss feel. Yeah, exactly, just like that. And let me think. There's got to be one I'm forgetting. I guess as awesome as it was, like, to look at, The amygdala fight, now that I think about it, probably could have had a little bit more going on. It's a perfectly fine fight as it is, and I kind of like the idea that the god of fear is not that powerful in direct combat. That's excellent integration of lore and gameplay, but I would have liked to have seen it have a couple more tricks up its sleeve aside from like just lasers and physical attacks. For something that's so ubiquitous throughout the game. But that, ladies and gents, is going to do it for Bloodborne. I hope you will join me in a few minutes, probably about 5 minutes. I will stream the introduction, like kind of get a feel for Hellpoint, the sci-fi Souls-like I know very little about, aside from one of the bosses that was featured heavily in promotional materials is like this giant cultist wearing like ragged robes and 3 different theatrical masks on different sides of her head, so looks like it could be a lot of fun. There's this synthesis of sci-fi and eldritch cosmic horror present in that game too. Can't wait to try that out with you guys, and until then, man, oh man, if you're present here in the Twitch chat or catching us after the fact as a VOD on YouTube, I want to take some special time out at the end of this series and thank you so much for your continuing support and patronage. I know this playthrough had a lot more like kind of jittery sections or a few more brick walls than anything else we've played. I know it had a whole lot more salt than you're used to on this channel, and I do apologize for those kind of disruptions in our flow, but I am so grateful for all of you sticking it out here with and for me. Really appreciate you. I think we were able to see a ton of what this game has to offer, and I hope that this series has given you an appreciation at the very least for the design aesthetics and the phenomenal work that so many men and women have put into this Soulsborne franchise that's taken the world by storm over the past 10 plus years. It's a great game, and I am so much better. Talking now, I might actually have to date myself for a post-pandemic audience. Imagine talking in the basically 6th month of America's COVID-19 pandemic and my effective lockdown. I want to tell you, again, as I try to at the end of every series, how much being here, sharing some of my passions with you, and engaging with all of you wonderful people, making friends and connections from all around the world has meant for and done for me over the past few months. I am so grateful for you, and I hope that in the future I'm able to continue producing this kind of content and that our little community can continue to bond around it. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thanks, guys. And we will see you in just a few minutes then with Hellpoint. Right into the next one. Thank you so much, and take care.